about my top 5 Philly dudes in my era. Apologies to the great Mr. Sonny Hill, basketball aficionado. I know Wilt Chamberlain's the greatest ever. Please, don't hold me accountable for that. This is my list. Let's go to number 5 on the list. The one and only Donovan McNabb. Why? All of those times you're talking about multiple NFC championship game trips, a Super Bowl appearance. Didn't capture the chip, but we know what a star he was in the NFL. I got to give D-Nab some love. Put him in my top 5 list. Let's go to number 4 on the list. You ready for this? Bernard Hopkins. You know who that dude is. A reigning middleweight champion of the world. 20 consecutive successful title defenses as the middleweight champion of the world. You can't talk about Philly. Talk about what Philly personifies and ignore Bernard Hopkins. We've got to give that man some love. Let's go to number 3 on the list. You know who he is, the round mountain rebound, the one and only Charles Barkley. Why? Because when we look at him and what he did, the round mountain rebound, a rebounding champion, a prolific scorer. No, he never won a championship. Yes, he had to go to Phoenix ultimately to go to the finals, but what he meant to the city of brotherly love cannot be denied. We got to give him. He's one of the top 50 players of all time, a Hall of Famer. Give him his love. Let's go to number 2 on the list, though. Charles Barkley wasn't this dude, the doctor, Dr. J, Julius Erving, making house calls, okay? He was Jordan before Jordan came along. He was Connie Hawkins after Connie Hawkins ultimately retired. The doctor was making house calls. He won a championship with Moses Malone and Bobby Jones and the crew. We got to give Dr. J, Julius Erving, some love. But when it comes to Philadelphia, y'all know what time it is. There is one man that deserves more love than anybody. He is the answer, the one and only AI, Allen Iverson. You know what he did. Carried this franchise on his back for a decade. 6-foot guard out of Georgetown, a prolific scorer, a scoring machine. We knew pound for pound, arguably the toughest athlete we had ever seen. That's my personal top 5 list when I think of Philly athletes. That's just me.
Good stuff. Mike Mancinelli from ESPN Radio out here in Philly, back with us. Fellas, what do we think of the list?
It's not a bad list.
Okay.
But he forgot, if you go modern day, Brian Dawkins has to be on the list. You gotta get B-Doc on the list. Come on, man.
Not ahead of Barkley, Dr. J, or AI.
Dr. J, by
and
the
not
way.
ahead of Donovan McNabb.
Dr. J, I love how Philly claimed Dr. J. He was in his prime on the New York Nets, and he's from New York, and that is the truth. I'll give you 2 you missed.
Philly, though.
I'll give you 2 you missed from baseball. The Secretary of Defense, Gary Maddox.
No.
Gary Maddox is the man.
No.
Number 1. Number 2.
No.
Number 2.
No.
Real Philly fans, you're all too young. Chase Utley, who won the World Series.
Nice.
Yeah, Chase Utley is good. But
They're
Jimmy
both good.
Rollins is better. Jimmy Rollins
a
should
good
be in the
pull.
Hall of Fame. Dawkins is in the Hall of Fame.
I'm not
Your
saying-
guy's not in
I'm
the
not
Hall of
saying-
Fame.
I don't know why Brian Dawkins not getting love from Kevin Hart either.
I'm not taking anything away from them in terms of their ability. I'm talking about ability combined with star power, box office appeal. That's what I was talking about. I wasn't just talking about.
No Joe Frazier?
Well, that's
Before
what
your
happened.
time. Before your
Yeah,
time.
I watched Joe Frazier, love Joe Frazier. But again,
No
I saw
Rocky
him
Balboa?
listen.
Only real athletes.
Yes,
But,
I got to go
you know,
with
Steve,
Bernard
listen,
Hopkins.
Listen, history all time, right? Let's do all time.
Well, all time would be Wilt Chamberlain, number 1.
Mike Schmidt,
Yes.
Bobby Clark,
They both-
Reggie White, Julius Erving.
Well, I would say this to you. Reggie, I don't know about Bobby Clark. Reggie White.
Well, you're not hockey. Not a hockey man.
There we go. Reggie White, obviously. Dr. J, obviously. Wilt Chamberlain, obviously. All time. I got that. But again, I'm talking about big-time talent with box office appeal.
And Schmidt
That
had to
was
hit
what
in
my
the
list was about.
You have to hit in the playoffs.
That's another propaganda. He's got all kinds of propaganda.
Guys, can I ask you a
there.
question? Do you think Joel
third baseman
Embiid has the talent
The
to
talent,
be
yes.
one of the greatest Philadelphia athletes ever?
The talent, yes. The attitude, I'm not so sure. Again, when we bring up the Greek Freak, we know how great he is as a talent. But what we marvel at is his assassin's mentality. He doesn't care about anything. He's coming after you to take your heart and everything else that he could take in pursuit of a championship. We need to see that from Joel Embiid. There's no question about his talent.
I think Ben Simmons is a rookie, was the best, or in his first year was the best show in the NBA. What happened to that guy? Where is he?
The difference here is, I agree with that. Ben Simmons is the difference. And Beat, I hear what you're saying. He's got to be dominant. I would like him to approach Shaq dominance.
Yes, that's what I'm asking for.
And he shoots free throws better, so he should be as dominant. But Ben Simmons has to turn into a different player.
I will say
How
this,
long are we going to wait for that?
To the two of you about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, to me, has that kind of attitude that we're talking about. But because he lacks a perimeter shot, he's compromised. And that's where he's got to work on his game more than his attitude.
But his attitude sometimes
attitude.
lacks in that instead of aggressively attacking every single time like Michael Jordan did, he defers. He attacks
because he knows he can't shoot. Because he knows he can't shoot.
I'm talking about getting to the basket. Like the other night,
he should have went to the basket. He should have went to the basket.
His defense this year has been amazing. Simmons is
great
turning it up defensively.
I love Simmons. Simmons, to me, if we're going to have that conversation about Simmons, if Simmons gets a jump shot, I think he will be an MVP candidate.
But he's so far from that right now.
I know.
I have a question for Max on this. Do you think Carson Wentz will ever be on this list?
He's got to turn it around. Like, it can't just be that he had a coordinator and a quarterbacks coach that he liked, and if they leave, he's not the same. He's got to win against the Cowboys. Like, you got to start there. You cannot lose this game to a Cowboys team that has only beaten one good team all season. You can't be a sub-500 quarterback except for 1 year. Your team can't make playoff runs only when you're not the quarterback.
You work with great people here on First Take, right?
Yeah.
And it enables you to be better at your very best.
Yeah.
If you didn't work with great people, would you be the Max Kellerman that everybody knows?
Excuse me. We all did radio. Mike Thompson, shout out Mike Thompson. He's our programming director, right? You did the Mike Missinelli show. How are you on the Mike Missinelli show?
I was damn
How are you on the Stephen A. Smith show?
I was damn
Because the Max Kellerman show was the bomb.
But we're talking about this show has many moving parts, and the parts have to be good. That's all I'll say about Carson Wentz.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.